Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nick Allenball, and I'm here to present to you the Chester Company. The purpose of this presentation is to provide an overview of the company and the CAPSIM environment, including our strategy, a competitive analysis, the pros and cons, lesson learned, and a conclusion. I hope it is by the end of this presentation that you will have a better understanding of the Chester Company and its place within a competitive industry. Now on to the team. So the Chester Company consists of 4 members: Dale, Desiree, Owen, and myself. Together we bring a diverse set of skills and experiences to the company, and a lot of the success of the Chester Company comes down to our amazing teamwork that we had throughout the semester. So next we got the CAPSIM environment. This section will basically cover the basic information about the simulation, including the teams, the number of rounds, and the purpose of the game. So the simulation involves 6 teams: Andrews, Baldwin, Chester, Digby, Erie, and Ferris. Each team competes in 8 practice rounds and 8 competition rounds. In the simulation, 1 round represents 1 year in the industry, with 2 rounds per week. Overall, the simulation provides a unique and valuable learning experience for students, allowing one to apply their knowledge and skills in a simulated real-world scenario. It teaches the importance of strategic decision-making, competition, and innovation in a highly dynamic and competitive marketplace. So next we have the primary decisions in the CAPSIM environment. So this slide will discuss the metrics used in the game, including reports on performance and tools to track and analyze the competition. These metrics are pretty essential for monitoring and improving the company's performance and staying ahead of the competition. The Foundation Fast Track report and the Balance Scorecard are 2 critical reports that we found to be very useful throughout the simulation. Next we have a little bit about the industry. So understanding the industry background is pretty crucial to appreciate the significance of the simulation and the lessons that are offered when playing it. The IoT sensor industry was initially dominated by a single player who achieved near monopoly status through heavy R&D, and this led to the stagnation in the industry, with few players and little technology advancements. The government had to step in and intervene and break up this monopoly and encourage competition, leading to revitalization in the industry and renewed technology advancements. Scarcity, innovation, dominance, stagnation are some of the critical industry developments that I feel has shaped the IoT industry before the government's intervention. So the game basically is going to provide students with an opportunity to learn about the challenges and complexities of operating in a highly dynamic and competitive marketplace. It is essential to have a background of the products, the industry in which Chester operates, just to fully understand the significance of the game and the lessons it provides. So next we have our products. Chester Co., we manufacture and sell devices that observe physical conditions and are used in a wide range of products, including phones, vehicles, traffic lights, you name it. As a sensor manufacturer, we don't really sell to the actual customer who uses the products. We're more like selling to other manufacturers who put our sensors into their products. And sensors are just basically defined as a device that can help detect any changes in the physical or electrical environment. They are critical for advancements in technology, which, especially with artificial intelligence becoming more advanced throughout the years. So like if you were to think of your Amazon Alexa, anything like that would have sensors in it. So next we have the strategy. So the Chester Company, we adopted a hybrid strategy that kind of combined the elements of niche differentiation strategy used by the Ferris and the broad cost leader strategy in Chester that we're using the practice rounds. We utilized a broad cost leader strategy for the low-tech market segment, focusing on minimizing the R&D, production, and material costs, automating products, and offering lower prices than our competitors. For the high-tech segment, we employed the niche differentiation strategy by investing heavily into research and development and to offer technology-oriented customer products that matched our ideal criteria for positioning, age, and reliability. Now, we spent pretty freely on promotion and sales to build and bring awareness to our products, and we price products at a premium level to reflect the high quality and the cutting-edge nature of our sensors. Now, our team's use of the hybrid strategy allowed us to pretty much maintain a presence in both market segments and leverage the strengths of each approach to compete more effectively on the price in the low tech, and then on quality and innovation in the high tech segments. So for round one, it was my opinion that we kind of failed in the starting round with our ability to really lay the groundwork needed to become the broad cost leader in the low tech market as per our hybrid strategy. But a quick look at the perceptual map indicates that both Digby and Ferris would most likely be focusing on high tech markets. All of us were able to capture more market share than potentially projected. I feel like this is due to being so early on in the game, where products needed to kind of get positioned and find a footing in the overall segments in the market. Now, we were able to reach more sales in the low tech in the first round than we expected by offering a lower price than most of our competitors, which allowed us to capture the leader position in the market. However, I feel like that we should have invested more initially in our sales and promo than we did, and just position Cake a little bit better off to fit the criteria. We kind of put 2,100 or 21,000 instead of 20,000 for our mean time between failures, and I feel like that kind of messed us up just a tad bit. But so on to the mid round. In round 4, our team continued to make progress towards our hybrid strategy. We saw improvements in our low tech market, with Cake performing well and our stock prices going up. Our profits were outpacing those of our competitors, and pretty much would indicate that our cost leader strategy was effective so far. We also introduced 2 new products around the middle of the game, and this helped to offset our R&D revision dates and maintain our presence in both the low tech and the high tech. So basically, the research times would take the product off the market, so we would try to create other products at different times to offset the timing of those, so we could still capture our sales that we would needed to keep going in the rounds. I think one of the mistakes that we made was in the middle rounds was paying dividends and retiring stock at the same time, which doesn't really make sense. Why would you do that? But I learned my lesson throughout that accident. I feel like we kind of paid a little too high on our dividends middle rounds and kind of impacted our spending limits a little bit. Maybe we should have waited a little bit later in the game, or just paid a little bit less of dividend amount so early on. But overall, I think it didn't set us off too bad. So I think overall the team and I were pleased with progress in maintaining our market share and presence in both markets. We know that it was important to be adaptable and just adjust things based on the marketing conditions and the strategies of our competitors. So yeah, next we have the final round. In the final round, Our team achieved higher profits than the other teams, and we had the highest market share, which was in line with our initial goals. While we were not at the top in either market, we were able to meet the demand for our products in the market, resulting in higher sales and revenue and profitability. In terms of financial management, we shifted our focus away from the stock issues we started utilizing the long-term debts and leverage of assets to maintain our cash position of around 15 million for each round, which was kind of the goal, to make sure that we would stay away from getting an E-loan. It allowed us to have more control over our finances and to make strategic investments in R&D, automation, and marketing. So overall, our team's success, I feel like, in the final round was just due to our commitment to our hybrid strategy, smart financial management, and the focus on keeping up with the market demand as much as possible, which was hard at times because, we had the problem of stocking out every single round, and it's just so hard to forecast and get it correctly. So next we have the perceptual map. Based on the perceptual map, it appears that the high-tech products have found their place in the market where the best meets customer demands. So it kind of reinforces the importance of investing in R&D, high-tech products to meet customer expectations. On the other hand, the automation was highly important for our low-tech segments. By investing heavily in the automation, it kept our company production costs low and was able to allow us to compete better in the marketplace for the low-tech. I just wanted to add this slide just because it kind of it highlights the importance of the perceptual map throughout the game and understanding what customers need and where products should be positioned. And I think it's interesting because technically there could be tons of little different segments in these that represent these circles. So the fact that we kind of kept it just between the low and the high tech made it kind of simplified things, but I still try to keep in mind that there's all these little complex segments as well that are not defined. So next we have our market share. This slide basically shows the profit and the stock price trend for all the 8 rounds of the simulation. As you can see, our Chester company performed very well in terms of profit, consistency. We constantly outperformed our competitors in most of the rounds. However, our stock price kind of trended a little bit more on the volatile side as we made some strategic mistakes early on. As I'd said, paying too much maybe in dividends to our investors kind of limited our ability to invest in other areas like R&D and automation and employee overtime, things of that nature. So overall, I feel like we maintained a pretty healthy cash position, though. While also heavily investing in both the high and the low techs, which helped us pretty much to capture and maintain a strong market share throughout the entire simulation, which is great. We utilized the long-term debt and asset leverage to maintain our position, and just invested in areas where we knew that it would help us remain competitive. Like I said, we didn't necessarily come out on top in either markets, but the balanced approach of the hybrid strategy and the leapfrogging that we did with the products to balance the R&D, I feel like overall gave us competitive gains, and we consistently met our goal of 20% at least market share. Reveals basically our potential to a company could scale off of that that hybrid strategy, and if you were to scale that in the long run, you would be making tons of market share and financial gains from that. Next we have our sales and profits. This slide basically is displaying the financial statistics of all the teams in the Capson simulation. Our team, Chester Company, we maintained a healthy level of profits throughout the game. As you can see here, we got 28.8% return on assets. We got 53.5% return on our equity. Our asset turnover ratio was around 1.22, and our leverage ratio was about 1.9, which I feel like kind of demonstrates our effective use of our assets and capital structure. Our ROS, or return on sales, was 23.6%. Not the highest among all the teams, but not once did we have to use an E-loan, so our contribution margin was really good. And so let's see here, our healthy sales figures, I mean, 156 million overall, which is great, outperformed every other team in terms of amount of sales. So our earnings before our interest and our taxes was around 64 million. Our cumulative profits were around 133 million, as I'd said. And our selling, general and administrative expenses to sales ratio was around 12.4%. And our contribution margin percent was over, 59.6 overall, which is awesome. I'm just highly proud of our team's financial performance and success throughout the simulation. So on next we have cumulative profits. Next I'd like to highlight the team's impressive financial performance over the past few years. As you can see on the graph, we have team's profits have steadily increased year after year while controlling our expenses. We generated 3.2 million in profits in 2024, and that grew to 10.8 million by 2027, and a remarkable 37 million in 2031. This upward trend is a testament to the hard work, dedication, and strategic decision making that our team members possessed. We were able to increase our sales while controlling our expenses, resulting in higher profits year after year. Our cumulative profit of 133.3 million represents a growth rate of around 34.06% over the other teams. This is a significant achievement. Once again, I'm really proud to have surpassed our competitors in terms of financial performance. So next we have our bond ratings. Our bond ratings, we maintained a healthy bond rating. We kept our investors happy with dividend payouts. It has the highest yield of return on profits at 11.7%. I feel like this is due to the increase in market capitalization and book value per share. We have a balance sheet which reflects high earnings in terms of our growth and our profitability. Our share price increased highly, demonstrating strong performance and growth potential for the future. So in summary, I feel like we offer attractive yields, growth potential, and is appealing to any investors out there looking to get into the IoT sensor industry market. Next we have our total quality management. So basically, the TQM is probably one of my favorite aspects of the game. I love the fact that there's all these little initiatives that you can kind of tweak around in the game and just give you a little bit of a competitive edge. So our team, we made use of several key processes, including CPI systems, vendor, JIT, quality, initiative training, channel support systems, and UNEP green programs. We also implemented several TQM budgets from the previous years, such as CCE, S, and Sigma training. So these efforts kind of paid off in the long run, as evidenced by the cumulative profits of our TQM initiative. We were able to strategically achieve significant material and labor cost reductions, as well as a reduction in our R&D cycle times, which was huge, especially, as I'd said, in the middle of the game where we were having the issue of the R&D times kind of not allowing us to capture all of our market share that we would have liked to. So the fact that we could reduce our time through the TQM initiatives was amazing. So I definitely recommend TQM for future Capsum players out there to use it to your advantage. So in conclusion, our Capsum journey It has taught us some valuable lessons about running a successful business. We've learned the importance of teamwork, communication, and strategic planning in achieving our goals. It is crucial to study the team member's guide throughout and practice in the early rounds to get a better understanding of the game mechanics. Ask questions, take ownership, and try to be the best without getting too stressed out. For the Captain Simulation, I feel like it's just a great online tool to help anyone improve their business management skills. Technology is not a replacement for humans, but rather a tool to advance us. Today, with the recent challenges of the COVID pandemic and economic inflation, technology is advancing increasingly, and it makes it more important that it's provided in education to train people around the world to be able to handle more of the technology industry related things. So as we reach the end of the Captain journey, I do hope that you have learned some lessons throughout this presentation, and the skills that are required and the friendships formed will stay with all the members of the Chester Company for years. I know that. I wish all the future Captain players out there the best of luck in their business environment, and I encourage them to learn from our experiences. So thank you for your attention, and have a great day.